Thanks for dropping in. In this video, I discover that a fan spins when you prod it with your finger, it spins even faster when you plug it in, and I look at red squiggles on a PC screen. I recently came across an eBay auction for an XFX Radeon R7 260X 2GB GDDR5 graphics card. It was listed as faulty, starting at £4 plus £3.29 P&P. In the description it stated that the fan bearing was broken and that it had been opened to try and fix and reapply thermal paste. This suggested to me that the card itself may be working fine and all it needed was a new fan, then this could be an easy fix. The Radeon 260X always catches my eye if I see it for a good price, because in my opinion it is an overlooked gem. The 200 series was released in late 2013 to early 2014 and hidden from consumers under the usual increasing number equals better naming scheme was a bit of a mishmash of architectures. At the time this didn't matter, as DirectX 11 was king and all the architectures were DirectX 11 parts. However, fast forward to 2024 when you're wanting DX12 support and it is a very different story. Here is a list of the Radeon 200 series cards, from the lowest R5 220 at the top to the top of the range R9 295 at the bottom. Here we have no less than 4 architectures. Terascale 2 from 2009, which only supports DX11, no DX12 support at all. Graphics Core Next or GCN1 from 2012, which supports DX12 but only with feature set for DX11, GCN2 from 2013, which has full DX12 support, and GCN3 from 2014, which also has full DX12 support. If we colour code the GPUs based on their architecture, we can see that the entry-level models use the old, even at the time, Terascale 2 architecture, while the mid-range generally use the slightly newer GCN1 architecture that does support DX12 in 2024, but only with the DX11 feature set. But the R7 260 and 260X stand out as an oddity, having the GCN2 architecture, while cards above them in the hierarchy drop back to GCN1. It means that you can pick up a fully DX12 supported card, albeit not DX12 Ultimate, for a bargain, as these are seen as mid-range cards in a series not usually DX12 compatible, making sure it's the 2GB version of course, as is the case here. When we look at raw performance of the R7 260X, it is slightly faster than an RX 550 and about 10% slower than a GeForce 750 Ti. So while not being a powerhouse by any means, it is still good enough for lower settings in quite modern games. Again, as long as you get the 2GB version rather than the 1GB version of course. So I put in the initial £4 bid and won. So what turned up? After my usual battle with the basic concept of a box, I eventually make it in. And here is the card. There are some of the connector screws missing, which, as it said in the eBay listing, does suggest this has been opened, but all looks clean, with no missing components off the back. In the eBay listing, it stated that the fan bearing was broken. It seems to still turn okay, but when plugged in, there is definitely a noise. This might be repairable by adding oil to the fan bearing, but I'll just replace it with a similar one that I have from a different card. First off, I remove the remaining backplate screws and the fan screws in order to allow the removal of the shroud. After removing the fan power cable, I struggled for a while to attach the new fan from an old defunct card, as the screw holes didn't match up, but after fiddling around for a while I eventually got there. Then came checking the thermal paste. Although the listing said it had been replaced, better to be safe than sorry. The paste was still wet, so the listing description was good, but I'll replace it again anyway. I used a bit of methylated spirit to remove the majority of the old paste, and a cotton wool bud or Q-tip. Before replacing the heatsink and fan. It was then a case of screwing it back together, as well as replacing the missing connector screws with some spare ones I had. Back onto a test bench setup, and the first question is whether I have managed to break it more than it was originally. Apparently not. Always good, that's a good start. Also, the noise from the fan is massively reduced. And upon running the card for a bit, we are getting good thermals, with the card hovering around 60 degrees C, albeit on our open test bench, but it should be fine. So there it is, a working Radeon 260X 2GB, which is still DX12 compatible in 2024 for £7.29. As it's not exactly a thing of beauty with its random different brand fan, I'll probably hang on to it and keep it as a spare. Do you know any bargain hidden gems in the second-hand PC component market? Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and leave a comment below, and I'll see you again soon.